Hi folks, welcome along to the Old Classic Car channel. Today we have headed over to the Didsbury Classic Car Show. First time here for this particular event, even though I only grew up about 2 miles up the road in Cheadle. First time to Didsbury Park, first time to this particular classic car gathering. It's been taking place for I think 15 years, so it's a very well established event, this one. Later cars, older cars, maybe even a few pre-war cars as well. So let's go and have a bit of a mooch around. We're here in the little MX-5 and it's the perfect day for it. Certainly is a great setting for a car show. Lots and lots of shady areas here under the trees, and indeed the big fields across Didsbury Park itself. I think we're going to have a very, very interesting day indeed. May the force be with you. We start our walk around this free to enter, free to visit event with a gaggle of 4 classic minis just over here. Like I say, it's a very, very sunny day today, so hopefully you can see this okay. Here we've got a Mini 25 edition from 1984, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the launch of the classic Mini way back in 1959. Somewhat later car here, one on a V plate, about 1979, the date of that particular example. But yeah, super little lineup of Minis to start this walk around. Like I say, there'll be some later cars, some older cars, and something in between, no doubt. And as always, I try and feature a little bit of everything in these videos while focusing mainly on the older and more unusual cars. What is this? So obviously it's a homage or inspired by the original wartime Jeep. It's got a small block Ford V8 engine in it, so yeah, very, very modified indeed. Started out life as a CJ2A, which was the post-war civilian Willis Jeep. Very, very similar body to that of the wartime Jeep, but a few differences, not least it should have a tailgate on the back. That was a feature. This one I don't think has actually got the tailgate on it, but as a CJ2 originally there would have been an opening tailgate on there, which wasn't a feature of the original wartime Jeeps. Next to it we've got a Quantum kit car, so these are Ford based. I think Ford Fiesta based probably. It's a jolly warm one today, alongside Ford Fiesta XR2 Mark II. Cobra replica here, looking pretty purposeful. Great colour scheme. Replica of the original 427 Cobra, 7 litre Escort Mark I just over the way here. And as always seems to be the case with these cars, 4 huge CBA lamps on the front. Somewhat later engine installation. And this particular Escort, pretty cool 2-door Mark I on the polished RS alloys. Little Fiat Abarth there. Toyota Celica, that one is for sale. So if you want a 1999 Toyota Celica 1.8 low mileage, there you go, there's the information for you. Now our Triumph Herald. Now this, before we bought our Triumph Herald, we were looking around online to see what we could see. We actually went to look at this actual car that was up for sale at the same time as ours was. We ended up buying the one that we had, the two-tone 1250 that I collected kind of from Newark in Nottinghamshire, but we went to go and have a look at this exact car. I recognised the colour, I recognised the North Welsh registration number on it, and yeah, I wasn't expecting to stumble across this one here today. It was somewhere in Manchester or Tarpley or somewhere around there. I think we went to go and look at it. But this is that actual car. A few nice period books, manual, spare parts list just over the way there. But yeah, fancy seeing this one here. Just keep out of a young man's photograph. But, yeah, I well remember checking this one out, going to have a look at it. Yeah, fancy seeing that here. Right, okay, Ford Cortina Mark II is next. This is a super duper example. Lovely shade of pale blue on the wider Ross style wheels. Ross style got its name from the company that made them, Rubery Owen. So Row style, that's where that came from. NCE 477H, about 1969ish, 70 perhaps. Fiat Spider here, the Fiat 124, nice early one as well with the chrome bumpers. Later cars and some of the American imports that we see, they've got the big chunky rubber bumpers and they just don't look the same at all, but this is really nice. I love the old style Fiat badge on there as well. So that's Lovely looking little car, all left-hand drive they were. Also open top, we've got this 911 alongside. And, ooh, look at this. Ooh, this takes me back just a bit. The Austin A40 Somerset. I used to run one of these, I had a beige one of these, and as I talked about in the video I did at the Coachman at Hartford, and I had one or two unfortunate experiences with it, not least the wheel coming off, which was all very, very exciting. But yeah, this was the replacement for the Austin A40 Devon. What year would this one be? 53ish, something like that. Column change, 1200cc engine. The engine was the forerunner of the B series, but it wasn't a B series itself, but it was definitely the forerunner to it. Four-door, my old one, it disappeared from view after I sold it, and then later reappeared. It had been converted into a pickup truck. BMC never made a pickup version of the A40 Somerset. They stuck with the pickups that they produced during the Devon era. Yep, column gear shift on these. Quite a roomy car actually. Well supported nowadays by the Austin County's Car Club. You don't see too many of these sorts of old 50s saloons out and about at shows now, so it's always a bit of a treat to see one like this A40 here. Don't forget to let me know in the comments if you've owned any of the cars that feature in this particular video here at Didsbury Park. It's always fun to read your comments, memories and thoughts of the cars that appear in these videos. Right, but we must carry on because this is a big event. It's also very, very hot as well. So I can see a bit of shade in the distance, so we keep going this way. Ooh, look at this, a Hillman. This is a Hillman Minx. We sometimes see the 50s Minxes, but these pre-war Minxes, this is a 1935. You don't see these very often at all, so yeah, what a treat to see that. And it's a pre-war car, which we approve of a great deal, so yes, always try and fly the flag for the older cars that are still out and about and in use. There we go, the proud Hillman winged badge there. CRE 179, the original registration number, the original registration plates as well. So that's really cool to say. This one, two-tone paint scheme. This, let's have a quick look. There's a bit of info in the windows, so that's always appreciated. So it's a Hillman Minx Deluxe 6 light. So 6 light is 3 windows per side. It's 1185cc, just under 10 horsepower, the RAC rating, 4-speed synchro gearbox. Oof. I mean, Ford was still stuck with 3-speeders, so yeah, 4-speed. That was a nice little thing to have. Original 6-volt system, ongoing running resto. I may smoke, I may leak and drink a bit, but I'm 91 years old, so be nice. Yeah, fantastic, very original looking in there. Proper original leather seats, nicely equipped dash as well. We see Fords and Austins and Morrises of this era at some of the events that we get to, but very, very rarely a Hillman Minx. There was a car very similar to this at the Hammerwich pre-war car gathering that I went to a little while back, and there is a video of that elsewhere on the channel. Yeah, what a treat to see this little car. If this could talk, what stories would it tell? What did it do during the Second World War? Was it stashed away up on blocks perhaps? Was it used maybe by an ARP warden perhaps? Fuel very strictly rationed during the Second World War, and indeed for quite a long time after the Second World War. So I bet this has some really interesting stories to tell. Yeah, great to see. A very, very original pre-war car, still out and about. I love the old Town and Country, very knobbly, grippy tyres on the back of this one. That's just the kind of thing you would have seen fitted to cars of this era and throughout the 40s and 50s. But yeah, big sunroof on the top. You got the sunroof drains here as well. Yeah, the Hillman Minx from 1935. What a cracker that is. Right, we carry on along the row. Much modified Morris Minor here. I think we've seen this one before somewhere, possibly. The Morris Minor Day held at the Manchester Museum of Transport. We certainly saw this one there. I remember this one very, very well. Alongside that, sporting a much more modern engine under its bonnet. A little twin cam Ford unit there. Very, very modified. This black Mordor, 4-door Morris Minor. Originally a Morris Minor 1000, but now not so much. Right, many, many accessories adorn this incredible looking split window left-hand drive VW camper. This one with the opening screens. I believe they didn't all have opening screens, but I'm happy to be corrected on that one. Yeah, pretty groovy looking machine, that one. I've already met a couple of followers of the channel here, so a big thank you to anyone who follows the Old Classic Car channel and ideally subscribes as well. And if you want to become a channel member, well, that's even better, so thank you for that. And yeah, just a big quick thank you to everyone who has signed up for channel membership, because that really does help just offset some of the fuel costs and stuff of coming to all these events that feature on the channel. But yeah, wonderful to see so many different cars here. It's a pretty modified, this pop, looking much more original. We've got another four-door Ford Cortina Mark II just pulling in. I like the racy stripes along the bottom of the doors. That's very, very in keeping. Lancia Delta HF Integrale. Happy memories of watching these, taking part in the World Rally Championship in the early 1990s. Pretty groovy, very, very tasty, purposeful rally inspired car. And staying with Italy, very, very different. We've got the little Cinquecento, little Fiat 500, the Nuova 500 as these were originally referred to, replacing the Topolino. So a little just under 500cc engine in the tail of this one, four-seater, so plenty of room, but significantly lighter even than the original BMC Mini when that first came out in '59, but these can trace their roots back way before then. So, isn't that Maradona or somebody? I don't really do football, but yeah, left-hand drive, little opening roof. At the time when these first came out, this was not really a luxury feature as such, but the supply of steel was so restricted. Ooh, look at that, the little Triumph base special. We have seen that one here and there before. Very, very cool car. But yeah, the supply of steel just after the Second World War was quite restricted, so it was a lot cheaper just to put a fabric panel in the centre of the big flat-ish roof panel. So hence the big opening sunroof, because it used noticeably less steel, and when you multiply that out across lots and lots of cars, well, it makes financial sense. But yeah, very, very bonny little car. It's a mid-80s Capri just over the way there. But yeah, there's cars everywhere you look, some of them dotted around under the trees. So let's see what we can see over this away. There's that Capri just over there. What do we have here? Mustang, open top Mustang no less. That one on the K, so early 1970s, the date of that one. Yeah, presumably an import, left-hand drive. Auto box, yeah. A radio in there as well. Philco, I think it said. Tameside Car Collectors Club. Right, powered by the 302 Windsor V8 engine. Loads of room. It's a huge engine, but it's an even huger engine base. Lots and lots of room. Engine quite well set back in the engine bay. Alongside that, BMW E36 Cabriolet, Triumph Stag. Both these two with their roofs up just to try and keep the interior temperatures down a little bit, because it is a jolly warm one. Next to the Merc, got a great little home built here. The Vincent, these are Triumph based. If you've ever had a Spitfire or a Triumph Herald, you'll recognise this front suspension. Really neat looking little car. Yeah, pretty groovy little car. Triumph mechanicals. I've got a Jaguar S-Type here, and the E30 era of BMW 3 Series convertible. And it looks like they've got a Triumph Herald for sale. $3,995 for a 1360 Cabriolet. There you go, there's the info. Bit of info there. $3,995 is the asking price for the Triumph Herald. Ford Escort Cabriolet alongside from the mid-1980s. Oh, look at that, Armstrong Siddeley. Cool, that's a bit tasty. Great to see some proper older cars here today. This is handy. Penelope, the 1926 Armstrong Siddeley Cotswold Open Tourer. 14 horsepower, not brake horsepower. 14 horsepower, that was the rating for road tax purposes in the 1920s, 30s, 40s. What a handsome machine this, and you've got the wind-up gramophone. Very nice too. The Columbia Gramophone Company Limited, London EC1. We've got a medley of Strauss waltzes just there, ready for a quick spin. Hear what you like, when you like. There we go. All the modern conveniences and modern accoutrement for this very lovely vintage Armstrong Siddeley. Oodles of space, loads of legroom, but of course when you go on a trip lots of this legroom will be taken up by perhaps your luggage or your picnic set, because there's no boot on these. There is a luggage trunk on the back, but no separate boot space as such. Great quality car. I do love this era of car. Lucas lamps. The proud Sphinx mascot here on the top of the radiator. Enamel badge just there. Lovely quality and attention to detail. Possibly toolkit just in there on the running board. Is that the fuel gauge? I think it must be. There must be the fuel filler and the gauge set into the scuttle. Let's go and have a quick look around there and just see. I've not seen one of those before, so let's go and have a quick look. RAC badge there, the Royal Automobile Club. Let's have a quick look at this on here. Yes, so we've got a fuel gauge built into the top of the tank just there. It's not the fuel filler, I don't think, but it is a gauge set in to the top of the tank. But what a beauty. Next to the glorious Armstrong Siddeley, very, very smart 5-door Ford Sierra alongside it. Mazda MX-5 Mark II or 2.5. VW Beetle, a left-hand drive VW Beetle. Don't remember seeing this one anywhere before. Bit of info in the window, so let's go and check that out. It's a 55 Type 1, which is a Beetle Type 1. Oval window, Scandinavian, Swedish registered, originally 1200 and upgraded to 1641. There's a bit more of the info there. Yeah, very sharp looking car indeed. What I like about these 50s Beetles, as well as the slopey headlights which look really, really neat, I think these enamel badges are just beautiful. Lovely car in great condition as well. Alongside that we've got a Porsche 924S. Some classic VW camper action over here, and look at this one. Side hinged pop-up roof in the raised position, doors open. Let's have a quick look in here, see what we can see. Super clean in here, immaculate restored condition. The old Bush radio, still got one of those just behind my computer. Pretty cool, bright orange. Right, let's carry on down here. So like I say, this is free to enter, free to exhibit your car, free to visit here in the park in the centre of Didsbury in South Manchester. So what a great event, raises money for charity through donations. Next to the Ferrari we've got this astonishing replica recreation of the original Jaguar XJ13. Last time I saw this one it was at Tatton Park and it was absolutely tipping it down. The driver drove in, of course no roof on this or anything, and it was absolutely hammering down with rain. So yeah, it's really cool to see this one out and about. Originally it was designed with a 4-cam V12 engine in mind. This one's got an engine based on one of the road car engines, a single camper bank. Yeah, pretty wild looking car. Only one of these was originally built by Jaguar. The idea was to go sports car racing, but it didn't actually get used in anger at all. Norman Jewis, the Jaguar test driver, he smashed up, well, I say he smashed up, he was in the car when it went off the road during testing. The car was subsequently rebuilt but never raced. There are 1 or 2 recreations around, and this is one of them. It pops up from time to time at the events we get to, and it really is a spectacular looking car. It really is an amazing vehicle. Just look at the shape, the wind cheating shape. Amazing looking car. Alongside here, so I think this is a homage to the old Lancia, the Type 037, I think it was, the Group C rally car. There are 1 or 2 recreations around. I think that is what we're looking at here, but I could be wrong. But either way, pretty amazing looking car. The Lancia Beta Monte Carlo just alongside that, so two classic Lancia designs there. Not sure if I've seen this one anywhere before. Looks like it gets around a bit. The Spa Classic 2025. This is a 1983 car. A bit of info. It's a Series 2 South African build. Oh, that's interesting. Pininfarina designed and engineered. Yeah, pretty amazing looking car, that one. A little Mini, a Shorty, I think they're called. Basically, someone thought the Mini was just a bit on the big side, cut it down and turned it into this Shorty. They're strictly a two-seater now, but that's a bit of a hoot. Lots and lots of wiring and evidence just over there. Definitely on the smaller side. Right, let's see what else we can see. Bit of junior driving going on over there, but we will go this way and check out the next row, I think. This is the MG ZS 180 with a V6 engine under the bonnet, so by all accounts these are actually quite a good steer, based on the Rover 45 saloon. But this one, the MG with the skirts, the different wheels, blacked out chrome, different grille, trim, etc. 24 valve, 4-cam engine. Oh, pretty neat car. I don't see many of these around now. I'm not even sure they made that many originally. Yeah. From the sort of the last hurrah, really, towards the end of Rover car production. Very appropriate registration number as well. Right, let's carry on down here. We've got a Golf R32 based on the Mark IV VW Golf. Ford Escort Cosworth. Bit of a bad boy. These were forever being stolen and almost impossible to insure when they were new back in the 1990s. Ford Escort Mark II here. Nice two-door RS. What's this? A little Toyota. 1988, 37,000 miles MOT'd. It's up for sale. This is a proper festival of the unexceptional material here. Never welded. 4,650. There you go. Let's have a quick look around the back. It's the saloon version.
Somebody take the picture, go on it. You see that?
There we go. Toyota Corolla GL. Pretty rare sight, that one. Sort of car that used to be everywhere back in the day, and then they all disappeared. I think the scrappage scheme probably saw off quite a few of the cars that survived that long, making these ones pretty unusual. Right, we carry on. Now we go back to 1964. The Morris Minor 1000 here, the two-door Morris Minor 1000. This one, lovely example here. It's clean inside as it is on the outside. You've got the original static type seat belts in this one. A little radio down there, Radiomobile, I think that'll be, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Radiomobile. A few extra gauges as well, just to keep an eye on the essential systems. Nice sprung steering wheel. That was dropped on the later Morris Minors, but I always think that looks nice. So, yep, two-door Morris Minor 1000 ADD 360B. Yeah, very sharp looking example, that one. Right, we carry on our way down here. What else do we see? Look at that. The Z28. Pretty wild looking car. The old Camaro. I remember having Matchbox toys very similar to this back in the 1970s. The Chevy Camaros and the Pontiac Trans Ams, etc. This one, 1978 on an S plate. Alongside the Camaro, we've got a Mark II Escort gear. All the bells and whistles as befits the top of the range Ford Escort Mark II, the square headlights, vinyl roof, shiny wheel trims, strips down the side, the all-important gear badge just on the front wing there. You've even got head restraints, all the modern conveniences. Bit of wood effect on the dash there. So definitely one of the plusher cars. Nice to see Motorcraft battery under the bonnet. Batteries so often look wrong in quite a lot of restored cars. You see beautifully restored cars and then a modern battery with all the modern stickers. I like the proper Ford air cleaner on there as well, so that all looks pretty proper. Right, got a two-door alongside. That's the 1600 Sport, quite a late one on the V plate, not long before the front wheel drive Mark III would take over. Second Ford Fiesta XR2 Mark II of the day so far, and on the end of this row the TVR Chimera, swoopy number, built up in Blackpool. Citroen CX door mirrors, unless I'm very much mistaken. The Rover V8 engine under that swoopy long fiberglass bonnet. Let's just have a gentle amble in this direction. Open top Porsche, enjoying this glorious weather that we seem to be having at the moment. I like how the Porsche logo is embossed into the head restraint there. There's a leaflet there for the Middlewich Classic Car and Bike Show. That's coming up fairly soon, at least at the time of recording. We're in early July at the moment. This, the S version of the Porsche Boxster. What else have we got? A little Mazda here. So this is a Unos. So this is a Japanese market, later imported to the UK Mark 1. MX-5, very similar to ours. You'll note the shape of the number plate is different on the Japanese market cars compared to the horizontal plates that are fitted to the UK market MX-5s. A few extra mods in here, including this hoop, steering wheel as well. But yeah, pop-up headlights, which is a feature just on the Mark 1s or the NA series MX-5s. Originally these came out just with the 1.6. Later the 1.8 was added to the range, and the 1.6 was actually detuned, so the later 1.6s are detuned compared to the earlier 1.6s. So that's something to bear in mind if you're thinking about buying one of the original NA series MX-5s or Unos's. Mayata in America was the name. This one is a 1990 1600, one private owner in Japan and imported to Britain in 2003. One of the benefits of buying a Unos is they don't scatter salt all over the road in the winter. We've had two red MX-5s. Well, I say MX-5s, the first one was a UK market car and that one went quite rusty really quite quickly, and it was some years ago now. And then we bought a Unos, a Japanese market car that had been brought in just like this one, and there's not a speck of rust on it anywhere. So there's a lot to be said for buying an import. Right, and alongside that very, very shiny red example, we've got another Triumph Herald 1200. This one dates to 1967. Looks to be a very, very bonny example indeed. It looks like we've got a lot of history in the window as well. So this will have the 1147cc engine. It's on an E registration, as you can see down there. Someone was asking the other day about registration numbers and why we refer to them sometimes in these videos. Well, that registration number would have been allocated to this car when it was brand new. The E at the end there tells us this one was registered in 1967, so that's kind of good. But yeah, we've got a bit of info in the window of this one. There have been no body repairs done to the car or any welding done to the outriggers or the chassis. Wow, that's amazing. It's got electronic ignition. Very, very original car. A couple of little upgrades here and there, but all the original parts have been kept with it, should a later owner wish to put it back to 100% original condition. That's the dash that R1250 should have had in it, but the previous owner decided to fit a 1360 dash to ours and never really worked properly. So I'd much rather they hadn't messed about. But that car is with a new owner now, and according to a message he sent me recently, is well on the way to sorting out its little foibles. Yeah, lovely to see such an original Herald 1200 here today at Didsbury. Right, got a little Skoda pickup over here, the Skoda Felicia Fun Edition. Lots and lots of yellow going on with that one. We like a yellow car. And the rest of this row, slightly later, BMWs, a very vibrant yellow one here. Blues, greys and white. A bit of classic light commercial action now. We've got a Thames 400e. So this is the forward control for Thames 400e. Several different versions were produced, different weight ratings. This, it's got the 15 on the front, so it's a 1500 weight. These replaced the E83W vans and was the forerunner of the original Ford Transit, and that came out in the 1960s. Slidey door windows, as you can see by the presence of the little Perspex block there, very similar to that to be found on RA40. Not too many of these around now. This one with a drop side body on the back, pretty cool. But yeah, forward control, so engine is between the driver and the passenger, so your knees are right at the front of the truck, no separate bonnet as such. The advantage with this layout is that for a given length of the truck, the maximum amount of it is given over to cargo or load space, so you don't waste any space with an unnecessary bonnet. If you can have the engine tucked away between the driver and the passenger, it makes the cab bits that much more compact, leaving you room for a much bigger load bay. England flags flying there. There's a bit of football going on at the moment at the time of recording apparently. Yeah, this one 1965 C suffix registration there, so that tells us this was 65. 1966 would be the last year D-Reg, where the registration letter was used from January through to December. From 1967 onwards, the registration letters changed in the end of July, at the end of July. Right, we carry on, and here is that Mark II Cortina that we saw arriving just a little while ago. Super sharp looking car, this one in pale blue. Looks like it's got a 1600e steering wheel in this one. Let's just see if we can have a quick peer in through the window. Yep, 1600e, and the extra gauges are on the top there as well. Yeah, very, very smart little car. And here is the car. I think this is a Formosa. It's a Triumph based car that we have seen here and there over the years, but not too often. It's an amazing looking car, clearly a homage to sort of the Ferraris of the 1950s, but with Triumph. I think it's, I forget whether it's Vitesse or GT6 running gear under this one, but it's a straight six either way. Maybe there's an information sheet somewhere. Right, oh, this car started out life as a 1959 Herald Coupe with 948. Yeah, body was replaced with a two-seater Sports from Formosa Cars in Poole, Dorset. It's got a GT6 2-litre 6-cylinder engine in it now. Yeah, pretty groovy car, like the hump, the fairing behind the driver's head. Lots of bare aluminium in evidence in there. Pretty swoopy looking little number that is, very, very eye-catching indeed, but you'd never believe that was based originally upon a Triumph Herald from 1959. Right, let's carry on over this way. I spy two-tone Austin Healey just over the way here. This is an Austin Healey 3000 Mark III with the two extra lights below the main headlights. UCA, so CA, that's a North Wales issue registration number, and the D on the end tells us this was registered in 66. Lucas spot and fog lamps, spot, fog fitted on this one, plus a trio of very smart enamel badges. These later 3000s, well, they've got all the modern conveniences such as wind-up windows, which wasn't a feature on the earlier 3000s. Got a Triumph Scimitar SE6 just pulling in, 3-litre Ford V6. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, that'd be fantastic on a day like this. And this has got the extra little rear seats in the back as well. So many cars here today. It's difficult to know where to begin. Yeah, lovely Austin Healey there. Yeah, the Scimitar GTE, the SE6 just pulling in alongside the Formosa.
any sass. If you race the other fella to the underpass, just kiss yourself goodbye.
Got a trio of classic scooters here, the Lambretta, the Jet 200. Very nice, the Lambretta there. Always seem to have a lot of fun, the owners of these old scooters. Often see them bombing around at the weekend. Swarms of them all together heading off for different meets and road runs and stuff. Another Lambretta alongside. Innocenti. And on the end here, wearing quite the assortment of old bicycle lamps, is this Lambretta here. Back in the days of the mods in the 1960s, it was pretty common to decorate your scooter with all manner of mirrors and lamps, etc. Yeah, this one certainly is not short of illumination. There's a few bits and bobs here. Manx Grand Prix programme, 1962, £4. Oh, that seems like a good buy. Some old road maps there as well. The Motorist's Guide. Yeah, that'll be coming home with me now. Stash that away safely for the return trip later. Right here, where was I? Right, a recent arrival is 67 MGB GT with the foldback roof fully opened. So Webasto type roof in that one. A good compromise between the closed GT and the open top Roadster, with the added benefit of extra headroom in the GT compared to the Roadster. Of course, the Roadster version was the only one offered when these first were launched in 62. The GT that you can see here, this was a Pininfarina reworking of the original MGB, and these were announced at the Motor Show, I believe, late in 1965, ready for the 66 season. The very early ones didn't have, there we go, here's an example. Most of the GTs you see have reverse lights here, but these early GTs, fairly early production GTs, they didn't have the reverse lights, so it's neat to see one of those here. We've got an E-Type 4.2 just firing up alongside this one, a very period 70s looking Wolf Race wheels. Is this relocating or is it going home? Who knows? Just moving it slightly. It's a Series 2 right-hand drive E-Type with the 4.2 straight 6 under the bonnet there. Yeah, these wheels very, very in period update. Yeah, proper Wolf Races. So that's pretty cool to see. Makes a change. Yeah, two very different British classics there. Right, let's carry on. Slightly later Jaguar in the form of an XK8, one of the X100 era. That's a 4-litre car, later on to a 4.2. We've got a fairly late example of the classic rear drive. We've got a fairly late example of the classic Alfa Romeo Spider here. This one with the later front and rear end styling, the cam styling, the squared off tail compared to the earlier boat tail cars. Still very, very stylish indeed. I like that. Super popular event, this one. Like I said, I've never been here before. Bit of Type R Honda action here, but I've never been to this one before. And it is a huge, huge event, no doubt helped by the fact that it is free to display and free to attend. Ooh, we've got one for sale here. So this is an 84 Alfa Spider. There you go. Oh, there's the twin cam engine there, the famous twin cam Alfa Romeo engine. We carry on down here, little Pontiac Fiero. Crikey, it's been a while since I last saw one of those. These sometimes get converted into fake Ferraris. It's kind of unusual to see one that hasn't been done like that. Yeah. Pretty unusual car, that left-hand drive. Right, we'll carry on just along the way here. We've got a Mark III version of the Ford Zephyr. And not just any Ford Zephyr. It's a 64 this one, but it's a Zephyr Estate. Oh, I do like a bit of classic estate car action. Look how cool that is with the fins. Huge, huge load bay. in the back of that particular car, the Zephyr 6, the old AA plate there as well. Abbott of Farnham, so that's the company responsible for the conversion of these cars into the estates that you see here. What a gargantuan machine that is. Huge amount of space in there. Fold that rear seat down and the whole family could sleep in the back there, I reckon. Original Britax seat belts in there. Brooks belts in the front, I like those. Very, very much American inspired styling, column shift on these particular cars. So this is the Mark III. Pretty groovy looking car, I do like that. And super practical as well. Got some extra Lucas lamps on the front of this one, the Zephyr Zodiac Owners Club badge alongside the Automobile Association. Pretty cool to see that one here today. Right, a little Spitty, a little Triumph Spitfire Mark IV. So this replaced the Mark III, which visually looked kind of similar, but when you actually compare them, everything was different on these particular cars. The original cars styled by Michelotti in Italy. I'm not sure if they were also, he was responsible for this reskin into what became the Mark IV later, the 1500. I'll have to check that, but yep, pretty neat to see this. But every panel different compared to the original Mark 1, 2 and 3. Still with a huge tip forward bonnet, similar to that of the Triumph Herald. Of course, the chassis on the Spitfire was a shortened, slightly modified version of the Triumph Herald, whereas on the Herald the sills were not structural, the visible sills below the doors, they were just screw on. On the Spitfire, which didn't have the Herald outriggers that came out from the central backbone of the chassis, the sills on these are structural. So if you've got rusty sills on your Spitfire, you might find that the doors don't shut very well because the car will tend to fold up in the worst examples of sill rot. This has actually got the GT6 Mark III bonnet on it as well, so I wonder if that's just to make it look nicer, or I wonder if there is actually a 6-cylinder engine hiding away under that tilt forward bonnet. Might have to look at the registration number and just see. Maybe there's a clue on the back. Has it been rebadged up to reflect the bigger engine? No, there's twin pipes. So it could just be a Spitfire with a 4-pot, or it could in fact have the GT6's 2-litre engine. I'll have a quick look on the DVLA website and see what that tells us. Alongside that, much a modified Ford Focus. Certainly plenty to see here. We've got the Audi Quattro, the 4-wheel drive Audi Quattro in red there, glistening in the sunshine. Another bay window V-dub camper, this one up for sale, £12,000. Fairly early bay, the T2, the Type 2, so the Type 1 was the Beetle, the Type 2 was the campers. This is the bay window camper. This is it's on a K plate, it says 1969 in the window but registered in 72, so there we go, £12,000. Bit of info there as well, and there's the phone number. Right. Look at this. I read about this one somewhere not long ago. This is the Bedford HA, but an ex-police service Bedford HA TU, so that's a Cheshire registration, so it's not travelled too far away from where it originally served. 1983 tax disc in the window as well, that's pretty cool. There was the Viva HAs as well, but this is the Bedford HA, complete with the original police lamp on the top there. Radio as well, the CB radio, Delta Peter 86 stenciled on the dash there. Lock your doors and windows, watch out, there's a thief about. You've got some truncheons and some handcuffs hanging up in there, so interesting stuff. Right, RS 2000 here with the droop snoots, which was a feature of the RS 2000 Mark IIs. The Escort 1600 Sport, a 2-door Mark II alongside that. Honda Prelude here from the late 1990s. And staying with Japanese coupes, we've got the Toyota MR2 here, the Mark I, the mid-engine Toyota MR2 engine tucked away, so you've got the air intakes there, not dissimilar to those on our old Renault 4CV, and the engine hidden away in there immediately behind the driver and the passenger. Yeah, quite sharp looking little cars they are. Subaru Impreza, and another early-ish slopey headlamp VW just on the end here. Porsche 928 just moving over there, I think it's an S4. We'll have a look around in here just a little bit later. Back to the Quattro, let's check out the next row here, headed up by the notchback Ford Mustang. This is one of the facelifted Ford Mustangs with a different front end on it. I'm not sure when that was introduced, this one. Very, very early 70s, I think, the date of this one. So clearly a Mustang, but slightly different styling compared to the ones that perhaps we more regularly see. Another Scimitar GTE here, this is an SE5. Or the very similar SE5A. We saw a 6A arriving just a little while ago. They are slightly wider, similar running gear, but slightly wider compared to these earlier GTEs. This one on an M registration, built by Reliant down in Tamworth, fiberglass body, a pretty cool two-door estate car basically, but like a shooting brake, I guess. There's Princess Anne, was a big fan of Scimitars. Manual box in this particular Scimitar GTE, and you've got the Webasto pullback sunroof as well. Ford V6 tucked away under the bonnet of that one. Right, we carry on here past a very, very shiny Golf R32 and its much older granddaddy, I suppose, the GTI Mark 1. Very, very, very clean looking Golf GTI Mark 1. What a beauty in black that is. As soon as VW bought out this hot hatch, it really was, the writing was on the wall for traditional sports cars at the time. If you wanted a little pocket rocket, you weren't going to go and buy a midget or an MGB anymore. This is what people were buying in huge numbers, and spawned the hot hatch revolution in many respects. We've got a big bumper Mark II Golf GTI just alongside as well. Quite the gaggle of VWs here. Some later GTIs, etc. Is this the variant, the Type 3? I think it probably is. This is the fastback version. There was also the squareback or the estate. Let's have a quick look in the window. Renovated for TV programmes, salvage hunters, classic cars. Yeah, Type 3. But like the Type 1s and Type 2s before, it's rear engine. This one, the air-cooled 1600 engine, hidden away under that rear deck. You've got the louvers set into the rear quarter panels here just to help out with cooling a little bit. Right, and we carry on, and there's another bay window VW here. Another big bumper Golf GTI, that one in red, and a black example alongside as well. And here we've got the VW Corrado, the VR6 version of the VW Corrado. Quite a handsome son of a gun, I think, that one. Let's just go around here. The Golf here, this one with the rectangular headlights, a bit like those on the Jetta, the Mark IVs here as well. One of my favourite eras of Golf in terms of styling is these. I think these have lasted, they haven't dated particularly badly at all, I think, the Mark IVs. Dad's got a V5 one of these at home. Some new VWs here, but we keep looking for the classic content, and there is a whole gaggle of classic cars just over here, headed up by this early 70s Mini pickup. What a belter that is, still with the original pressed tin front on it, which is standard fitment on all the Mini pickups and vans throughout their production. Even the slidey door windows and outside hinges remained with all the pickups and vans produced, even long after the cars had switched to regular wind-up windows. Yeah, pretty cool. I like the shade of green as well. That's really neat to see these little commercial variants. They used to get driven into the ground, and Mini pickups like this, filled with bricks every day, wouldn't last more than about 5 years before it'd be pensioned off, scrapped and replaced by something new. Right, we carry on, and alongside that we've got the Rover 3-litre saloon. So this was the forerunner to what became the P5B when the V8 Buick designed engine was shoehorned under the bonnet, but this is one of the original 6-cylinder 3 litres. At first glance you can tell because the grille is slightly different, whereas these have quite colourful grille badges on them. The badge is just like a goldy colour, on the P5B, and you have the extra lamps below the headlamps on the P5Bs, but this is definitely a 3 litre. This side strip down here, that was, I believe, unique to the 3 litres and didn't make it as far as the P5B that came along just a bit later. But very, very handsome car, 4-door saloon version this. There was also the 4-door coupe, and alongside it's a car I've seen here, there and everywhere, including down at the NEC Classic Car Show. This incredible estate car conversion of a Rover P5B, and here you can see the extra lights beneath the headlights, and indeed the different style of grille and badge that was standard on the V8 powered car. So nice to be able to do that comparison between the older 3 litre and the later P5B. Right, let's carry on, and staying with V engine cars, but in this case 12 cylinders. We've got a very, very late example of the Series 3 Jaguar E-Type. All of these were V12 powered, 5.3 as standard, all aluminium, single camper bank V12. The last 50 cars were produced in black. Now whether this is one of them, I'm not sure, but either way it really does suit. It's a treat. Cheshire Classic Car Club stand we're on now. So there go, the big V12 engine. I used to have this engine in my Series 1 XJ12. 4 Stromberg carburetors, lots and lots of balance pipes across. That's the throttle pedestal there. So press the accelerator and it rotated this, and it operated the linkages over that way, operated the throttles on the 2 carbs over there. This one comes across to here and actuates these 2. Yeah, lots and lots of pipe work. Later V12 XJs would have the air conditioning compressor in here, so that made it really tight, changing the spark plugs. This era, the V12 didn't have air cons, so the accessibility is just that little bit better. All aluminium engine on these. The XK had the iron block, but the later V12 engine, which is what we're looking at here, this was all aluminium. So yeah, very special car, mass-produced V12, not something you say very often. Right, let's carry on. Classic Jaguars continue with the Mark II. We've got a North Wales registered, I think that's probably Anglesey registered Jaguar Mark II, a beautiful example. Which one is this? This is the 3.4 litre. Beautiful colour, really sets it off a treat. Very, very neat indeed. We've got a Triumph TR4. This car has featured on the channel before, as have several of these Cheshire Classic Car Club exhibits. The TVR Chimera there. Right, red Porsche next to that. Ooh, the Riley 1.5. So this was the sporty, pepped up brother of the Wolseley 1500. Both had the 1489cc B-Series engine, but this, the sporty Riley version, benefited from twin carburetors just for a bit of extra poke, and I really, really like these. I think they're great cars, based on the underpinnings of the Morris Minor, so you got rack and pinion steering. And yeah, Dad had a Wolseley 1500 for a while some years ago, and it was a great little car to drive. Very, very underrated cars, I think they are. More E-Type action here. We've got a Series 1 Roadster from 1962. The Vauxhall Victor Estate, looking magnificent in this metallic green colour. A couple of Porsches here. And on the end, a little Alfa Romeo. Not too far from Manchester Airport here. Wowzers, look at that Rolls Royce. Let's get in there and have a look. What an amazing looking body on that. Is that a one-off? Maybe it's even an American body, I'm not quite sure. We've got a little dicky seat in the back, but I've never seen anything like that before. Beautifully appointed rear dicky seat in here. A mother-in-law seat for the less charitable. Two-wheel brakes. So what sort of age is this? Presumably 1920s. Right-hand drive. Got a Rolls badge on there. Yeah. What a machine. So this is a 1923, 20 horsepower, 2-door Doctor's Coupe. Lots of handy information on the floor there. Yeah. 1923, delivered to New Zealand before being owned and restored by well-known enthusiast and collector G. Wales in America. 6-cylinder engine. Unusual feature is a small metal ornamental bee fitted onto the alloy bonnet. Oh, there it is. So there's the little bee. So there's the little bee just fitted onto the bonnet. So 1923. So 103 years old. Look at that beautiful little lamp, the little hooded side light on the front wing there with a little telltale on the side, a little marker lamp. So yeah, 20 horsepower engine, again the RAC rating, nothing to do really with brake horsepower. We've got a spare set of plugs just mounted on the bulkhead there in case of issues. Well, one was out and about and one fails to proceed perhaps. Yeah, 6-cylinder engine, quite a compact little engine. Even got Rolls-Royce branding on the bronze carburettor. What a beauty that is. Coil ignition. There's a little oiling. Just pop that too maybe. You don't want any dirt in the steering box. But yeah. What a lovely thing. Pretty wild looking body. I've never seen anything like this before. So I spent its early years over in New Zealand. Pretty wild looking car, and quite small for a Rolls-Royce. It's the 20, which was the smallest I think of the Rolls-Royces, but even so it looks quite a compact car in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to lots of the vintage Rolls-Royces that we see while out and about. But yeah, 103 years old. Wow. I love how they've got these adjustable shutters on the front of the radiator as well to regulate the flow of air into the rad depending on the temperatures. Right, so we're off. Let's see, we might as well carry on along here past the P1800S, the Volvo P1800S. Early cars, bodies were built by Jensen, who were also responsible for the bodies on Austin Healey's. Now this is a real oddball. I remember seeing this one at Capesthorne Hall. This is a Brazilian market VW Puma. So rear engine, just like your Beetles and your Type 2 campers. But this is the Puma. Astonishing looking little car this is. Pretty groovy set of rims as well. Yeah. You would not expect to hear a little air-cooled engine in the back of a car that looks so rakish. You'd assume it'd have maybe a V6 in it or something like that. But no, this is VW powered, Brazil market only, left-hand drive VW Puma. That's quite an amazing car. I've only ever seen two of these. I think one was on air suspension and slammed on the floor, which looked a bit unusual, but this is just how it should be, and what a rarity that is. It's great to see that here today. A Land Rover Defender here, a Morgan, first Morgan to feature in the video here today. And as with most Morgans, we see quite the assortment of enamel badges on the front of that one, built down at Malvern of course, still in production as well. It's a homage to the old Ferrari 250. Lexus, make that two Lexuses. Two cars here, both metallic blue, but really quite different from each other. This little Alpine, well, this needs little introduction to regulars here on the channel. We see this at Capesthorne, Goresworth Hall, etc, etc. Beautiful little Spanish assembled Alpine A110 from the early 1970s. Just a wonderful little car, very popular in rallying back in the day. Left-hand drive, and just so stylish. Those beautiful wheels as well really are a treat to see. Really groovy. Nice little car. You're right. Hiya. It really is a treat to see that one here today. Towering over it, modern day Supra, which is one of the few modern cars I actually like the look of. And then, well, what do we have here? Not one, but two DeLoreans. John DeLorean's brainchild, built in Belfast. Stainless steel coachwork with gull wing doors. And a little V6 PRV engine in the tail, so just under 3 litre I think. The Peugeot, Renault, Volvo engine basically. The DeLorean Motor Company there. Made famous, of course, in the Back to the Future films. If it wasn't for those films, these would probably have gone into obscurity, but as a result of the films, I think everyone knows what a DeLorean is, even if you're not particularly into cars. A lot of the engineering on these was done by Lotus. Yeah, brushed stainless steel bodywork. Someone's found the shade. Pretty wild. Not so great if you've got a low garage roof, but yeah, amazing looking cars, reminiscent of the doors fitted to the 300 SLs in the 1950s. amazing looking machines. XR3i just over the way here. And I spy MGB from 1966, this time a Roadster. Perfect for a day like this, I think. Really good cars, these, really solid, chunky. What impressed me most about when we had our late 70s MGB development car just a few years ago, I was really impressed that even though our car was very much from the British Leyland era of MG, they still had a lovely reassuring clunk when you shut the doors, which is not something you could say about most BL cars of the 1970s, which, let's be honest, are not always great. But the door shut on these Bs, I mean, these can, like I say, these can trace their roots back to 1962 when they first went on sale. They still have a very reassuring clunk when you shut the door. Right, let's carry on over here. Bit of two-wheel action just here. What are these then? Not entirely sure. Yeah, Honda Goldwings, that's it. Certainly cast quite the footprint, these two. A Nissan Bluebird 5-door here. Oh, what do we see in the window of this one? Old classic car supporter. Someone's been on the OCC merch store supporting the channel by buying a sticker or two, so a big thank you for that, really appreciate that. Links to the merch stores in the pinned comment just below this video, and indeed in the description. If you want to fly the flag for the channel, help promote it just a little bit, stickers and mugs and all that kind of thing can be found in there. Right, and next to that we have the Rover P6, the 3.5 V8 engined Rover P6, one of the facelifted cars. And what was this? Look at this Plymouth alongside. It's a 64 registration on it. What an amazing looking machine. Sort of shades almost of the Vauxhall Victor FB in the front of that one. We've got a Corvette over here as well. Corvette 5.7. It says on the hood. Fiberglass body, of course, on these. T-bar roof. Yep, so quite a chunk of engine in there. Plenty to keep clean and polished there. Look at this Packard Coupe. By gum. Don't see too many of the old Packards around. Very distinctive radiators on these, really upmarket cars of the day. And just like our 31 Buick Coupe, it has a violin case with it, running the moonshine, of course. Yeah, pretty wild looking car that is. Okay, let's just keep going down here past Cadillac there. Mighty Chrysler. Look at the size of this two-door Chrysler. What a beast. So what have we got here? A Chrysler 300. Very faded old sticker for a Plymouth dealer, Hessing. Chrysler Plymouth, Boise, Idaho. Very original looking paint on this. Got a few stickers, left-hand drive, but look at the size. Next to this incredible Chrysler 300, an immaculate, super shiny 289 engine Ford Mustang from 1966. That's got the 289 V8. You could also get 6-cylinder engines, the Sierra Sapphire Cosworth, a Chevy 3100. So this was the half-ton step-side pickup truck. This one's got the split window, so it's pre-53ish, so it could be late 40s, early 1950s, so we'll go with 1950. That seems like a fair number to go at. Sometimes they actually have the dates. Oh, here we go, 1949, there we go. I was just about to say, a lot of the time these American cars that you see have also got the dates of manufacture on the registration plates. That's quite handy. But yeah, this is a half-ton truck, step side, pickup body. It's a 3-window cab. Sometimes they did the 5-window with the extra curvy panes set into the corner of the cab there. It's pretty original. The steering column and the steering wheel, those are later upgrades, but the dash hasn't been all chopped about, which happens sometimes to these with extra gauges and switches and so on, so at least that looks kind of original. Yeah, and it's got steel sun visor as well, which is perfect for a day like this. We are enjoying some pretty incredible weather at the moment. How long it'll last is anyone's guess. And next to that, the mighty Ford Thunderbird. It's not one for the shy and retiring amongst us, this one. What an amazing looking machine. Just imagine Marilyn Monroe or someone driving around in something like this. Look how huge it is in there. I love the original mats as well. The original rubber mats with the Thunderbird logo and text on as well. That's very, very unusual. Nice little radio built into the centre of the dash as well. Oh, quite an amazing looking car. But yeah, I particularly like those original rubber mats. They are really, really quite special. It's rare to see those. Got a Chevy here now. What's this, late 50s? That's a guess. We got any clues down here? Nope. Pretty wild looking machine. Quite a few Americans in this corner of the field. Got a Plymouth Fury. What are we looking at over here? Let's go and have a look. Just over the way here at this low slung little number. A Chevy custom job. So this is based on a 38, but super modified. Quite like the wheel discs on it. I like those. Those are pretty groovy, but yeah, lots and lots of modifications on that one. Right, so let's keep going down here. Some much later, indeed, brand new cars, including the MG Cyberster or something I think it's called. Not too many good clean ones of these left. The VW Passat here in estate form. Lovely little Morris Minor Traveller in Old English white alongside the Toyota Land Cruiser. I do like these. I think these are really characterful old 4x4s. They look older than I think they are. I mean, this one's on an S plate, so we're looking at something from the late 1970s, but it looks much older, I always think. But I just think they've got so much character. Really nice. Not easy things to find now in good condition, and when you do find them, you need fairly deep pockets, I believe. Got a Lexus alongside, TVR, and this incredible paint job. The Ferrari just on the end of the row here. Oh, it's really heating up now. Let's try and get a bit of a wriggle on. Ford Escort gear here, so I've seen a few of those here today. A Ford Capri here, circa 1986, the 28i. TVR Chimera with headlamp modifications. Another 3 Series, one of the E30 era of BMW 3 Series. This one must be quite a plush one because it's got the headlight wiper arrangements, which you didn't see on all of them. A Tickford Capri alongside. There was quite a gathering of those at the Goresworth Hall events earlier this year. A Fiesta Mark 1. Project Bobcat. That was the in-house name, the project name for when the Fiesta hatch was being designed back in the 1970s. Complete clean sheet of paper compared to the small Fords that came before. Hatchback car, very sharp styling, very neat little cars indeed. Got a Golf Cabrio here, Audi, another E30, and this time it is an open top 4-seat convertible. We saw the 94S before, and now we've got a Porsche 944 from the early 1980s there. Honda Integra Type R, so several of the Type R, the hot Hondas here today. With a Mark 1 MR2 here. Saab station wagon with some bits and bobs there on the floor. Make that 2 Saabs plus convertible. Under we've got a turbo. Oh no, I like this 16 valve turbo. I well remember when these first came out in about 1984. This has got one of the later slopey fronts on it. The earlier 900 had a much flatter nose and slightly bulkier bumpers. That's these 3 spokes. These were introduced on the 16S in about 1984. 16 valve engine as opposed to the regular 8 valve engine of your turbos prior to that date. This is a 900S. I think this is the what they call the LPT, so slightly lower power output, and it doesn't have a boost gauge, I don't think. The full turbos have.
What's it up to? About 300,000.
276 the mileage on this one. 276,000. Yep, that's just about run in.
He bought it new.
He bought it new.
Yeah, he bought it new.
Wow, wowzers, that's amazing. To keep it all this time. Sunroof open as well, you'd expect on a day like this. Standard spoiler on the boot as well for the turbo. Yeah, happy memories of owning a car very similar to this way back. Well, we had a 1985 turbo, and much before that Dad had one of the very first 900 turbos, a 79 car. But, now by complete contrast we start the next row behind the Saabs, and it begins with this Morris 1800 in full police livery. This is the 1800S. A friend of mine's dad had one of these back in the late 1970s, early 80s. The S had the twin carburetors, so transverse 1800cc B series engine. All the extra bells and whistles as you would expect in a police car of the day. Yeah, transverse mounted, front wheel drive, 1800 engine, and the twin carburetors bolted to it. Right, let's carry on down here. The modern interpretation of the 3-wheeler Morgan. Danger hot. I imagine that does get quite warm, as does the exhaust down the side here, so you'll have to be careful that you didn't burn yourself. That's what did for one of the Bentley boys, Tim Birkin, back in the 1930s. He burnt himself while clambering out of his Maserati single-seater, I think it was, after a race. He burnt himself, and there were complications as a result, and that was the end of him. Right, let's carry on down here. Another MR2, two-tone, that particular one. We've got a Lotus Esprit here, very low, very rakish, similar age to the DeLoreans that we were looking at before. Another MGB Roadster. This one started out, if that registration number is anything to go by, this one started out as one of the rubber bumper cars and has been converted to chrome bumper and grille because, well, they do tend to look a lot better. Series 3 Land Rover alongside. Again, I see a leaflet for the Middlewich, the upcoming Middlewich Classic Car and Bike Show. Might see if we can get to that one, we've not been there for a couple of years. The Jeep alongside. What's the story with this? Willis, quarter-ton 4x4, ex-War Department. A little mini moke over here. And here we've got a homage to the original Porsche Spider. What an incredible looking car that is. What a beauty. Let's just keep ambling over here. I spy a Jaguar. This, I think, is an XJR, so the supercharged XJ, one of the aluminium body cars. I think this is based on the X358. Earlier cars were known as the X350s, but I think this is the slightly later car. What do we have over here? Ferrari 328 GTS. So 328 was kind of a slight mild reskin rework of the old 308. An S for Spider because it's got the lift out roof panels. The GTB, the Berliner, didn't have the lift out roof. Engine back here, so it's a mid-engine car. Yep, 328 GTS. The bumpers are slightly different compared to the older 308. Great looking cars. You can see how the styling of these was kind of inspired by the older Ferrari, or the older Dinos. Technically they weren't actually called Ferraris, the Dinos, but you can see in the shape, especially down the side here, how the old Dino was the inspiration for what became the 308 and the 328. Alongside that, oh, look at this, proper Beetle Cabriolet. So not a home hatchet job, this is one of the proper Carman converted cars, 1967 VW 1500. So like all your Beetles, engine hung out in the tail here, the little air-cooled engine, in this case 1500cc, a proper full folding lined roof and framed side door glasses, all features of the proper Carman converted, the factory sanctioned Carman converted cars, and even wind up rear side windows as well. So yeah, proper job they did of these, even down to these framed quarter lights here. And on the other side there will be a little badge for Carman. This is quite an early one with the slopey headlights, probably a 6-volt car from 1967. Let's have a look. There we go, there's the Carman badge. Carman also did the later Golf cabriolets as well, but this is the proper factory endorsed Carman Beetle Cabriolet. What a little cracker that is. Right, I'm on the end of the row here, an immaculate little Defender with Cobra Rep alongside. This is a fairly late arrival, Series 3 V12 E-Type 2+2. Very appropriate registration number. I like that, and the correct fishtail exhaust trim, which was a feature on just the Series 3 V12s. The 6s never had that. Yeah, long wheelbase, 2+2, so slightly higher roof line. Some little seats in the back as well, just for a bit of added practicality. This one has got the manual box, some are autos, some are manuals, but this one is the manual, so I'm sure that would be a lovely car to drive. Big 5.3 V12, manual box, well, pretty special driving experience, I'm sure. And here is that 928 that we saw arriving just a little while ago now. Front engine V8 powered car, quite the GT. The little Herald is still for sale. Right, I think we'll amble back in the general direction of the car via this wonderfully shaded area. Go and grab a quick butty and then we'll have a look at the field over there. Someone having a photo taken with the MX-5. There's bagel and one butty completed, so let's crack on with this particular field now. The first car we see, well, it's not a car, it's a camper. Another lovely split window V-dub, this one with the fixed rear screens. So we've seen one or two with the opening front screens. This one has the fixed screens, looks to be super duper original, very original, slightly faded paint, but who doesn't like a bit of original paint. Dash looks very original as well. Slidey door windows, cooking facilities in the rear, so all very agreeable. I like the little pop-up side windows as well, that's quite neat. Oh, that's a nice sticker, isn't it? Look at that. That's a lovely sticker there. Yeah, VW 1500, 1963, presumably an American import from some point in time. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. But let's go and have a look over the way here, and I can see with one headlamp raised a Fiat X19. This really is the perfect venue for a classic car gathering. Lots of shade offered by these trees. Reminds me very much of the paddock area at Prescott, where the speed hill climbs take place. Right, here we go. Here's one of the Bertoni designed Fiat X19s. Very 1970s, the wedge design, lift out roof panel. Strictly a 2-seater 5-speed box. Just see that down there. Mid-engine, so the engine tucked away under the cover there. And a very period metallic gold colour. So we've got down here, we've got a gaggle of the later Mazda-based Fiat Spiders. I'll just go down here, there's quite a few of these. I like the Abarth sign there. And we have a whole gaggle of air-cooled Citroëns, starting with this about 1985-ish Citroën Dolly. Very distinctive equine-related mascot. in the centre of the bonnet. So is this a 652? Probably is. So originally 375cc, then 425 and 602. Right, yeah, this is a 602. Very bonny example, that one. Great to see this assortment of limited edition 2CVs. Got the 2CV dolly. Which one's this one? I've seen this one somewhere before. This is the Car SOS Citroen 2CV. We have seen this one at Hopley House and other locations before now. In beautiful condition, restored for the TV programme just a few years ago, and still in pretty epic condition. The Inglenook Classic, that's another event we've been to on a couple of occasions. What a little belter that is, the Beachcomber edition, right. So many different versions of the classic Citroen 2CV were offered over the years. Citroën préfère Total Petrol. Nuclear, no thanks. What a bonny little machine that is. And oh, they've got this one. Oh, I like the T-shirt, sir. Can I just get a little clip of your? So what does that say? Something in the garage. What's that? I'll be in the garage. Yeah, just say dans the garage. Yeah. Oh.
And there's something on the front in French.
Oh, I saw something in the script just below the screen. So what does that say? You might have to.
Not just a car, more a way of life.
Not just a car, more a way of life. Oh, right. So have you had this one a long time, sir?
21 years.
21 years, by gum. And you get all over with it, do you?
Absolutely.
Are these all the places you've been to with it, or just some of them?
Yeah, I've been everywhere stickers.
Wowzers. 2CV Ecos. Wow, these are amazing.
A pickup, yeah.
Wow.
They're rare, those now.
And alongside the 3 2CVs we've got this, the Citroen Acadian. Now, I have had 2 or 3 of these over the years, but going back a long way back in time. Front end based on the Citroen Diane, which was sort of an update, I suppose, to the original 2CV Autos de France. That's a gathering at Alton Park. In fact, that was just the other day at the time of recording. Left-hand drive. This particular Acadian van. One of my regrets in my car life is that I had one in this colour scheme. It was a French import, and it was all sign written in the livery of a French plumber, and it had wonderful old sign writing all down the sides, and I so wish I'd hung on to that one. Last seen heading off in the direction of Scotland. I think there was talk of repainting it, so probably the original French sign writing for the Plombier, I think it was probably long gone, but it was the base colour was the same sort of blue as you can see here. Pretty cool. These have wind-up windows. That was one of the upgrades of the Diane over the original 2CV, which has the lift-up flap windows that you can see here on, for example, this one here. So that's a hinge just down the glass there, so you can flap this bit up and clip it up out of the way, but these have all the modern conveniences. Fixed little quarter lights, but wind up main door windows. Great to see the little Citroens over here. Pair of Nissan Micras. These have quite the enthusiastic following now. They are quite characterful little cars. Vauxhall Viva HC generation of Vauxhall Viva. This looks like quite a posh one with the stripes down the side and the shiny rimmed Rostyle wheels, vinyl roof as well. There is a radio aerial mounted on the side of the windscreen pillar, the A pillar there, so presumably music on the move with this Viva SL. Yeah, there's a little stereo cassette player just down there. It looks very original. I do like original cars, ones that if there are any modifications they're all in period, which is what we like in this particular part of the YouTube world. That one's on an L, so about 72ish. Viva SL, so yeah, one of the quite plush examples of the HC generation. Bonnet raised there, super clean and tidy under there as well. Yeah. Very smart car. Right, which way should we go? Let's finish this row off. So we've got a Mercedes. We'll just negotiate the the tree here. We've got a Merc, so this is the coupe, the two-door coupe version of the 124, so the C124. It's a pre-facelift E-Class with the slightly bigger, chunkier grille compared to the slimmer grille that appeared on the later 124s. So this is the coupe, the two-door coupe. There's also the Estates. We had 4 of those over the years, and the saloons, of course. Various engines, some petrol, some diesel. But this, the two-door coupe. There was also the very natty convertible as well. You'll notice the different shape of door mirrors. That's correct on these. So more horizontal, the one on the driver's side, but the one on the passenger side, much squarer, much boxier. And that was standard thing on this generation of Merc. Yeah. Very, very smart example of the pre-facelift 124 coupe. Now look at this, we go back to the late 40s when this, the Jowett Jupiter, was introduced. An incredible little Jowett Jupiter built at Idle in Bradford in Yorkshire here in the UK. What an amazing looking car, quite popular in rallying back in those post-war years as well. This was sold alongside the Jowett Javelin, which was a saloon which shared a very similar boxer engine to that you can see here, hung right out of the front of the car. So opposite opposed cylinders on these particular cars. So quite advanced radiator behind the engine. You can probably just about pick that out there. Pretty advanced cars for the day, and they went very, very well indeed. Jowett was certainly taking on the big boys with their revolutionary Jupiter and Javelins. Gearboxes were a bit of a frailty on these cars, and I think the warranty claims just on the gearboxes alone probably did for their finances, and they never really recovered after that. But yeah, lovely, amazing looking cars with these big rear hinged bonnets, a bit like those fitted to the Frog Eye Sprite, the Sprite Mark 1. That also had a huge rear hinge bonnet like this, so it gave you pretty good access to the engine, which was hung right out at the front. But you could easily clobber your head if you were not careful. But what a beautifully looking little car, really wonderful interior as well. Column gear change very well, stocked dashboard as well, proper wood dash, none of your stick-on Fablon here. Class winner at the Le Mans 24 hours, so like I say, popular sporting choice. Got a Philips transistorized radio in this one. By gum, all the modern features in this particular example. Lovely metallic green as well. White wall tyres too, just for a bit of added pizzazz. Super characterful. I love the look of these. Not dissimilar to the XK120, which was from the similar era. The Jowett Jupiter. What a beauty. Let's just stand back and have a look at it from this side. What? Super looking little car. I really, really like those. Right, we carry on. Got a Beamer here. Such a variety of cars here today. Super clean little Merit edition of the Vauxhall Corsa. That one for sale, open to offers, and there's quite a few of these Nissan Figaros here today as well. Lots of different colours of those in evidence. We've got another Triumph Herald here, this time in the 1360 in convertible form. So whereas the Jowett Jupiter's bonnet was rear hinged, this is forward hinged, and just look at the incredible engine access on this particular car. This is one of the reasons why I thought buying our Herald 1250 would be an excellent idea, and in many ways it was a good car, but there were just too many niggles for me to sort out. But yeah, this car protected by crook look, the steering wheel lock, lovely sprung steering wheel on these as well. So this has got the 1360 dash, which is correct, and that's the dash that someone had fitted into our 1250, which was incorrect. M for Michelotti, just on the bonnet catches there. Those catches are used on lots of other cars as well, including the Marcoses. And the M was just perfect for one of those. Right, we keep going. Got a very modified Fiat Punto, the Vauxhall Tigra, quite a cool little coupes. Rover 75 saloon, and on the end of the row the wagon version of the same car, this one about 2003 or 4. MG-ZT here, closely related of course to the Rover 75s. I saw this one somewhere recently. Where was that? Not sure. BMW E46 3 Series. Another Golf Cabriolet, just perfect for a day like this. A little Mini, one of the BMW generation of Mini is over here, very similar to Harley's. This is the Cooper S. So which generation is this? HY51. So this will be the supercharged Cooper S, later on to a turbocharged, and by all accounts these are probably the better cars. And we've got several later examples alongside here. This is the Alderman District Mini Club. We do have a classic Mini here as well. This is quite an early example. Right, anyway, let's keep going. What have we got? Oh, let's have a look over here, because I nearly missed these out. I've got a couple of Ford Cougars there. Leyland Princess. Another little micro there, but yeah, cool to see the Princess. Well, remember Reeds of Cheadle, our local British Leyland garage in the 1970s, having those for sale and in their workshops. Got a Ford Fiesta here, and look at this, a Singer Vogue Estate, one of the Arrow series of Singer Vogues, sold alongside the Hillman Minx and the Hillman Hunter. This was the replacement for the Audax generation of Hillman Minx, but this is the Arrow series car, much boxier, rival to Ford's Cortina Mark II, but this, the estate version. These are virtually extinct now. What a rare beast that is. Any estate version of the Arrow series cars, Hunter, Minx, etc., is a rare sight, but to see a Singer Vogue, wow, that can, there must only be 2 or 3 of those still on the road, if that. What a rarity that is. It's on an E-plate, so 1967. Well, that surely is one of the rarest cars here today. It's a real treat to see this very obscure Roots Group estate car here today, the Singer Vogue wagon. The Renault Espace over here, we saw this one arriving just a little while back. Wow. Big French people carrier. I love the style of the alloy wheels on these. TXE injection. This is quite an upmarket one. Not too many of these left either. Big, boxy, very airy car. Very practical. And, well, yeah, not exactly a common sight on UK or indeed French roads now. We go back to light commercials, Ford, and when we were looking at the 400e, I mentioned that that was the forerunner, the predecessor to the first of the Ford Transits, and this is an example of the Ford Transit Mark I. Some of them are petrol, some of them are diesel. The diesels had like a longer nose on them. I'm assuming this is a petrol engine version, but the good old Transit. The Capri 280, so last of the line of the 2.8 V6 powered Ford Capris there, the car you always promised yourself. Got a Ford Escort RS Turbo here, complete with many mirrors on the floor just to show how clean the underside of this particular car is. Look at that. Yeah. Props to the owner for keeping their car in this astonishing condition. Yeah, pretty amazing. Now, we saw a Herald convertible just a few minutes ago. This is its 6-cylinder cousin, the Triumph Vitesse. This one is for sale, 10995 it says in the window. Different wheels, non-factory wheels. This is the Vitesse Mark II, so 2-litre engine, and this has the added benefit of the Rotoflex rear suspension, which was an upgrade to the original swing spring arrangement, which could be a bit tail happy in extremis if you're driving a regular Herald or the earlier Vitesses. If you go barreling into a corner and lift your foot off, you could easily find yourself pointing the wrong way. But with the Rotoflex rear suspension, which was shared with the Mark II GT6 and the early Mark III GT6s, they did tame the handling somewhat. Pretty cool to see that, and again, perfect car for a day like this. Alongside that, we've got a Ford Pop, the little Ford Pop 103E. This has got the later rear lamp conversion, but it's a proper official Ford fitment. You can just about see Enfo in the lens. Enfo for English Ford, so that's an original Ford dealer upgrade for one of these particular cars. But this has got the 1172cc engine, built from 53 to 1959. That's a 1954 car. By complete contrast, we've got the fiberglass bodied Lotus Elise here. The two-tone Beetle reminds me of a German police car. I used to have a little dinky toy one of these back in the 70s, and it had a little steering wheel on the roof that you could steer the front wheels. think I've still got it somewhere. And over here, big Vauxhall. This is the Vauxhall Ventura, so upmarket in relation to the Victor of the era, but yeah, pretty rare survivor, that one. And on the end of the row, good old BMC favourite here, the Morris Oxford. This one from 67. Yeah, this is a pretty amazing do, way better than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but the surroundings, the setting is just perfect. Got a Merc 190E here, somewhat lowered, silver and black plates, retrofitted. Is this a Metro or Rover 100? I'm not entirely sure. Astra GTE Mark II, about 1985. Escort XR3i Cabriolet. Little Nova here, is this the SR? Probably. 3-spoke alloy is just on that, like that Saab Turbo, very similar. Vauxhall branded, of course, but I'm guessing this is an SR, judging by the mouldings down the side, but I could easily be wrong. It's a 1.2L, there you go. I think the wheels are off an SR, possibly. Very clean, very original interior. This one's got the pop-up glass sunroof. MGB up in the air, another mirror showing the super clean underside of this particular car. We've got the original tool roll, toolkit. Fair bit of auto soul's gone into preparing that engine bay. Wowzers. Bonnet, I think, opens further than they would have done originally. Super shiny aluminium header tank on this aftermarket radiator. Got an oil cooler as well, just hung out the front there as well, along with a fire extinguisher. Twin SU carburetors. Fuel filter on the back there. Pretty amazing condition. Right, we carry on just up the way here. Escort Cabriolet. I remember my English teacher at school had a brand new one of those, which impressed all us kids very much indeed. E36 Coupe 3 Series. With a Carmen Golf Cabriolet, MGTF, a couple of later MX-5s here, this one the Mark III, the blue one, GR Yaris, and the car that inspired our Mazda MX-5, the original Lotus Elan. It's a little beauty here in blue, open top example, big Lexus here built to take the fight to Mercedes-Benz and their S-classes. Next to the Splitty that we were looking at a few minutes ago, another example of Bertoni's Fiat X19. These early ones with the smaller bumpers, a lot nicer I think than the later cars with the big chunky bumpers. This one on an N registration, and again I just love the early style of Fiat badge with the sort of the winner's laurel around the badge there as a nod back to Fiat's racing successes back in the early 20th century. A long time ago. VW camper here, and now we go back to pre-war days, in particular pre-war Austin. Got the picnic as well, so perfect, just the sort of thing that a car like this would have been used for on a lovely July day like today. Potter out to the countryside, picnic in the back, find somewhere nice to park up and have your sandwiches. Wonderful. This one, it's on wire wheels, it's got the painted radiator surround. So I don't think we're very early 30s, we could be about 35, something like that, but it's still got the spoked wheels, it hasn't yet gone to the solid, easy clean wheels. 4-cylinder engine here, I'm guessing this is an Austin 12. 6 light bodywork, so 3 main windows per side. Very original in there, look at that, what a cracker. Nice well-equipped dash, big clock in there, speedo just to the right, petrol, oil pressure, ammeter as well, opening windscreen for a bit of air conditioning, which on a day like this will be very welcome, as would that huge opening sunroof. Preserve the dependability of your car, only use the best lubricants. Oh, very smart indeed. RAC badge, Royal Automobile Club, the breakdown service AA, the rival alongside. And this is a commercial vehicle AA badge. Lovely car, Lucas lamps, a couple of extra lamps on the front of this one as well. It's original registration number, so that's good to see. Yeah, lovely, perfect here under the trees, under the canopy, the shade of the trees, and the ideal place to enjoy your picnic. What a great scene. Pretty cool to see that the AA has got a display of old memorabilia around here today. That's pretty neat. Look at this. Some old motorist's diary with AA branding. Bookmarks. Not seen a lot of this sort of stuff before. Early badges, keys for the phone boxes that were available to members of the Automobile Association. GB plates with AA branding on. There's another one of the commercial AA badges there. Got some fairly early AA badges. There were so many different variations. We've got one of the very first AA badges at home, made in brass, I think, without the wings on the top, which is about 1907, I think. Rhodesia. So across the Commonwealth, across the Empire, we've got a New Zealand one there. There were specific badges for specific countries. Northern Territories. Some really rare badges. What a great collection of memorabilia here. Amazing collection. Various keys here. RAC as well. RAC corner over here, so someone has clearly been collecting AA and RAC memorabilia for quite some time. I've got some of these maps back at home as well. Know Your Motorways. Lots of different RAC badges on display in this particular cabinet as well. Maybe one or two of those back at base as well. Yeah, an amazing collection of AA and RAC memorabilia. What an amazing collection of AA and RAC memorabilia. Got a Honda here, 350 twin by the look of it. Bentayga, built-in crew, of course. Little midget here, very nice, on an F, so late 67, early 1968. The date on this one, A-Series powered, evolved from the Austin Healey Sprite and the Frog Eye Sprite. They're tiny little cars, but they do drive very, very well. I did get the opportunity to drive one of these only very, very recently, in fact. Right, let's keep going. A little VW buggy here. That's pretty cool. Ford Raptor hiding under the tree next to this Seat Alfa Romeo Spider. This one is for sale. Quite a few cars for sale here today, so if you're looking for your next classic or modern classic car, you could do worse than come to an event like this, because you'll see all sorts of cars for sale. Right, we're back to Ford Capris now. This is the Capri 2, a 2-litre S in black with the gold stripes down the side. So the Capri 2 introduced the hatchback to the Ford Capri. The Mark 1 just had like an opening boot lid up to here with a fixed rear window, but the Capri 2 and the later 3 with a full hatchback, like you see there. Nice to see the proper metal plates as well. That's good to see. Late 60s MGB Roadster alongside. Super condition, that a beauty in red that is. Aftermarket wood steering wheel. University Motors Special badge. It's got a Motorola radio. I remember Dad's Volvo 121 had one of those in it back in the 1970s. tell a lie. That'll teach me. This is an MGC. I missed the little C on the boot lid there. Alright, so this is making more sense now. 3 litre straight 6 and the twin SUs. So the MGC Roadster. So whereas the B had the 1800cc B series engine, this has the huge 3 litre C series unit basically out of an Austin Westminster, I think. Lots and lots of work was involved to re-engineer the body shell to accommodate that big heavy engine into the B's body. And alongside it's another classic BMC beauty, the Austin A35 here in 2-door saloon form. I like that. Original reg TLW464, so presumably that registration's been on it since new. Bonnet raised, so this was the rival to the standard 10, also 948cc. Lovely condition. Little SU carb on this one. I think originally they had a Zenith. Same engine as fitted to our A40 Mark 1. These would be mechanically these were very similar in fact to the A40 Farina Mark 1 with a 948 engine. Hydromechanical brakes, so hydraulic brakes to the front, then you've got what they call a frame cylinder just under the floor here, and then mechanical rods out to the back wheels. So hydromechanical brakes on these and the early A40s. Bigger back window compared to the A30, slightly bigger engine. The A30 was 803cc, this is 948. A few other little differences as well. Yeah, 4-speed box, 4 on the floor. Great little cars, room for 4 people. Mrs. OCC used to run a 2-door A30 which had been fitted with the larger 948 engine. That was her daily many years ago. This is a lovely example, this one in grey, beautiful chrome, still with the original whiskers just at the bottom of the front panel there. They often get smothered out in filler when a car's had a quick resto job. It's good to see the original whiskers still in place on that one. And alongside we do have an MGB Roadster, and here we with the 1800cc engine glistening away under the bonnet here. Another micro-based Nissan Figaro here. It's a big following, big turnout of those here today. Got an XK150 drop head coupe, appropriate 150 registration number on it as well. Very, very swish indeed. So there was the Roadster, then there was this, the drop head coupe with the lined hood. More substantial hood compared to the Roadster. Much bigger frame assembly as well. What a beauty that is. 150 drop head coupe with the framed door glasses. The regular Roadster didn't have that. Lovely, lovely car in bright red. Also in bright red and also open top. And also from Browns Lane we've got the Jaguar XJS, the full convertible version of the XJS. This one the V12, you can just see the V12 badge on the front. They also did 6-cylinder convertibles, but that's the full fat 5.3 V12. Got an XK8 there. Try and keep out of the way of this camera. Ooh, what's this? This is the estate conversion of the this is the Lynx Eventer. Now that's not something you see all that often. Lynx, a name associated with Jaguars for many, many years. And they also did a limited run of these estate car versions of the XJS. You very, very rarely stumble across one of these. What's really unusual about this one is the roof. Let's just have a quick look, because this has got lift-out roof panels. That's not something I have ever seen before. You see the odd Eventer around, but I've never ever seen one with that type of roof. I wonder if it's got an ejector seat button on the gear shifter a la 007, but yeah, I've never ever seen that before. That really is quite an amazing thing to see. I'm assuming this is a Lynx Eventer anyway. Yes it is. There we go. Lynx Eventer XJS HE, so based on the V12, the HE evolution of the original 5.3 V12 engine, but in estate car form. What a cool thing that is. Reminds me a bit of the Volvo P1800 ES, or the Scimitar in fact. Jaguar never produced a shooting brake version of the XJS, but as you can see here, Jaguar Specialist Lynx certainly did. Now whether Lynx also was responsible for this removable roof panel arrangement, I'm not quite sure, but I've never ever seen that before on one of these. So yeah, just one of many cars I've never clapped eyes on before. The XJS was in production for many years, from 1975. In fact, that's when it went on sale. And here alongside is the replacement, the X100 era of XK8, or in this case, the supercharged XKR. We know that's because A, it says supercharged in little lettering on the front there, but it's also got these louvers set in to the top of the bonnet. That was a supercharged XKR only feature. And we've got another one alongside this one, the fixed head coupe version. The Jaguar E-Type here, bonnet tilted forward, revealing the straight six engine, and very different carburettor setup on this particular car. Proper old camera setup there, I like that. Try and keep out of the way. I think he's stopped, he's just putting the lens cap back on, so I'll get back in. Right, so triple Webers on this XK straight six here. It's got the later cam covers as well off one of the later XJs, perhaps, something like that. Originally it would have had polished cam covers, I think. This is Series 1, it's a 4.2, so one of the later Series 1 cars. Earlier cars had the 3.8 and the flick switches, whereas these slightly later cars have got the rocker switches in the centre of the dash, as you see there. Manual box, looks like possibly a non-original gearbox as well. Right, let's carry on. Bonnet is also up on this glistening immaculate 64 E-Type alongside. That is one bonnet, isn't it? It's nearly half of the car in the bonnet alone. Now alongside we've got a Series 2 XJ on a Welsh registration, but it's a very high riding XJ. I'm not entirely sure why it would be so far off the ground. It's got the 6-cylinder XJR, the X300 era of XJR wheels on it. So maybe this has got XJR running gear, who knows? But it certainly sits a long way off the floor. I wonder if it's not even got an engine in it, because that could explain why it's so high up off the floor. Certainly a gearbox in it. There's a selector there for the Borg Warner box. 5000 red line on the tacho, if that's original, so that suggests 6-cylinder engine, or at least originally 6-cylinder engine, but the fact it sits so high off the floor at the front makes me wonder if it doesn't have an engine, or if it does, perhaps the springs are just a little bit on the high side. Answers on the postcard, please. We're just completing this row. XJS here, facelifted XJS, Mazda MX-5, MGF times 2, both in dark green metallic mid-engine little cars with a K-series engine tucked away somewhere behind here, hence the louvers on the top of the rear panel there. Now this was MG Rover's rival, I suppose, to the MX-5, which we're in today, of course. The Rover 200, the 214 SI, and alongside us in the little Mark 1 MX-5, our little California edition MX-5, is another Figaro, this time in grey. Rightio, let's carry on over here. And behind the MX-5 we've got this, a bright yellow Figaro. That makes a change. We don't see many yellow ones of these around. Tokyo Nouvelle Vague 1991. Yeah, that makes a change. Not that dissimilar to our little yellow MX-5 just behind it. Right, we've got a 4-door E36 3 Series. Nice to see that one. You see lots of tuned and souped up and M versions, but not so many of the sort of the mid-range saloons, 4-door saloon in this case from the late 90s. More Figaro action there. Datsun 280ZX. Should be a big 6-cylinder engine just over here with a bonnet up, auto box on this particular one. So yeah, huge overhead cam, single overhead cam, Nissan engine there. Really excellent condition. Some of these have the T-bar roof, I think. Pretty cool to see this one here today. Very period looking cassette player just in there as well, and there's the auto shifter, velour seating in this one, 79 tax disc in the window. And over here we've got another variation on the Triumph Herald and Vitesse theme. This is the Bond de Keep, so Herald or Vitesse chassis hidden away under there, fiberglass body, very, very different looking compared to the Triumphs that this was based upon. But you'll see again the little Michelotti M bonnet catches there, Triumph gear shifter there, overdrive box in this one. So this is a Mark II Keep, big pipes out the back. Looks like it's been upgraded to 2.5 litre engine out the big saloon. So that 2 litre would have probably been the original engine, this one, but this one's been upgraded to 2.5. Much torquier engine than 2.5. Yeah, pretty cool to see one of those here today. We do occasionally see Bonds, but not everywhere. Yeah, neat. Little Mini Cooper here, bonnet raised, lots packed under the bonnet of these later classic Minis. Alternator right up on the top there, fuel injection against the bulkhead, little A+ engine there. Yeah, certainly packed it all in these late classic Minis. Whew, properly warm day today. Right, let's carry on along here. Next to the Porsche we have a super original Saab 99. This one kind of looks familiar. I have a feeling I might know who owns this. This is up for sale. It's one of the most original Saab 99s you'll see anywhere. It's a very similar spec to a car that one of my uncles had back in the 1980s, and he shoehorned Triumph Dolomite Sprint engine into it. This 1972 Saab 99 Dolly 1850 engine. It says they were related. Yeah, what a belter that is. Incredible blue paintwork on this one. Really, really original car. I like the nod to Saab's aviation activities with the badge on these particular cars. The stylised aeroplane flying towards you there. Quite an advanced car for the day. And the 900 would be the ultimate evolution of the 99. And next to the immaculate Saab 99 there's a little Renault 12. This one now has featured on the channel from time to time. You may remember this great little display of Renault 12 spinning away on top of the dashboard there. Really unusual. Stickers for the Renault Club inside. Pretty cool to see those two European classics here today. Got an MR2, the Mark II version of the Toyota MR2. Let's keep going along here. Ooh, Fiat Punto convertible. Look at that. You don't see too many Fiat Puntos around now, especially the open top cars. So pretty cool to see that. It's got a little Bertoni badge on it. So Bertoni also responsible for those Fiat X19s that we were looking at just a few moments ago. This one is for sale, rare Punto cab. There are the details, £2,000. Very tidy car, ideal starter classic. There you go, there's the details. It's actually quite an interesting little car, isn't it? A fairly affordable way of getting into the modern classic world, and guaranteed entry to any show that you really want to go along to. Very rare little car, that is. Perfect for a day like this. Alongside that we've got an Alfa Romeo. I think this is the Alfa Sud Sprint, I think. Never seen this either. Very unusual colour scheme. A Special. Right, a little clover leaf set into the air vent on the rear quarter there. Spoiler on the back. Yep, so the Alfa Sud Sprint Veloce 1.5. There we go. Very unusual colour scheme. It's like a sort of a beigey colour with these Special stripes just down the sides. That's a really unusual vehicle, that one. I like that. Alfa Romeo Classic. Very rakish coupe, very 70s in design. Yeah, neat. Very deep dish steering wheel, hooded instrumentation. Very comfy seating in very good condition as well. Alfa Romeo mats in this one just to protect the original carpet. Alloy wheels painted black, but yeah, unusual, very unusual sight that one. We carry on along the row. We've got Renault, the Aventime, pillarless design, pillarless MPV. How crazy looking is that? Oh, an amazing looking car that is. Hot Audi estate. Which one is this then? RS4. Nice colour, I like that. Reminds me a bit of the Estoril blue that you see on some BMWs. The Jeep Wrangler Sahara edition. Mini RS Turbo, one of the Series 2 RS Turbos. Range Rover, the P38 era of Range Rover. What do you have here? At first glance it looks like an MGTF, but this is a kit car inspired by the TF. There were a few different kit cars offered based on these. This is the RMB Gentry, I think it is. There we go, it's where you'd normally have the MG badge, RMB. So this is a Gentry. I've got a feeling it might be Triumph running gear under that particular body, but very much a homage to the old MGTFs. And on the end of the row here we do have the Nova SR. Those are those wheels that we saw on that 1.2. That's what threw me originally, thinking that the white car was an SR, but no, but this one, on the face of it, appears to be an original Vauxhall Nova SR. Very neat looking, very sharp looking design, very sharp crisp lines, nice big windows, nice and easy to see out of, nice and easy to reverse without parking cameras, and yeah, just a very sensible, good looking little car. Now I could be wrong, but I think this is a Rochdale GT. It is indeed. Yeah, these are really cool. Sometimes you see the Rochdale Olympics, which were similar to this, also fiberglass bodied, but you don't see too many of these GTs. That really is one of the highlights of the day. This one's got a GT badge off an MGB applied to the side of it. So what have we got? A series engine, probably a 1275 I would have thought. Twin SUs. Could be one of the slightly smaller, maybe 948 or 1098. But in a lightweight fiberglass body shell, I bet it goes really well indeed. Where we used to live up near Northwich, there was a gentleman that had quite an assortment of Rochdales in various conditions around and about behind his house, in the garage and outside. And I'm sure there's probably at least one Rochdale GT in amongst them. But it's been a while since I've seen one of these super little cars. Quite popular in sort of clubby racing events, motorsport events. So drive it during the week and then take it to a circuit, maybe have a little go on circuit or in a speed test, a little speed trial, hill climb event, that kind of thing. Very tunable if you've got a BMC engine in it. Lots and lots of tuning options would have been available. This one's on a K registration, so early 70s, but I'm pretty sure the car is at least 10 years older than that. Yeah. Very neat looking little car. Might have to find out a bit more about that. Over the way here we've got a period stock car. So stock car racing still goes on. This was very popular back in the 1950s. Oftentimes the body shells were very modified Fiat Topolinos cut down. There's actually some photos on the main Old Classic Car website in the image archive section of paddock scenes showing cars just like this being worked on between races. But yeah, oftentimes these body shells were very modified, very cut down Fiat Topolino bodies. Ford Pops were also used as well, but yeah, certainly looks like a Pop gearbox down there. So maybe side valve engine, heritage stock car racing. There you go. Ford pattern wheels in there. Yeah. Quite cool. This one belongs apparently to Harley J. Over here the Glossop Vehicle Enthusiasts Club stand. headed up by MG RV8. So these were built in the 1990s using some of the heritage body shells that were originally destined to be used in the restorations of original MGBs, MGCs, etc. But it was decided that a limited run car, the MG RV8, would be created, built around modified shells, and that is what we're looking at here. As a reminder really to the buying public that MG at one time were very, very popular sports car producers, and before the MGF went on sale, these were produced in limited numbers, really just to pave the way for the all-new MGF. And talking of MG, we've got an MG TC. So back home we've got our little PA from 1934, and over the years it evolved. The pre-war cars evolved from the PA and the PB into the TA and so on. And then in the late 1940s we got this, the MG TC, very, very similar to the pre-war cars but much later beneath the skin. Yep, so these were introduced in the late 1940s, replaced by the TD, which had solid disc wheels. So the TC was last of the cars, the original T series, to have spoke wheels as standard, although I guess the TF probably did too. Yeah, very, very clearly the roots, the design of this one set very much in the 1930s. The shape of the cabin here, so similar to that on our PA, just a little bit wider, a little bit longer, a little bit more elbow room in these compared to our old P series MG, but the family link, the shape of the dash, etc., very, very similar indeed. Right, let's see what else we've got. We've got an XK alongside, MGB Roadster. Your mother wouldn't like it. That was the sales slogan of the time. There you go. Your mother wouldn't like it. And very similar colour alongside is another Vauxhall Viva HC. So we saw one quite a while ago now, the SL. This one is not an SL. This is a two-door saloon. These were produced throughout the 1970s. This one a very, very jolly colour like that. Like the other one, looks very, very original inside. Vauxhall energy absorbing, it says in the centre of the steering wheel, so presumably a bit of a squishy pad just in case you decide to have a crash and impale yourself on the top of the steering column, so a little nod towards safety. It's a fairly compact little 4-cylinder engine, single Stromberg carburettor feeding it there. Oodles of space, just look how much room, look how easy it would be to change even like the alternator down there, nice and easy to get at. All the ignition side of things and the fuel pump, the mechanical pump just on the side of the engine, so all beautifully accessible. Try doing that on a modern car today. Right, and look at this Citroen alongside a right hand drive Slough built Citroen Traction Avant. Literally it's front wheel drive, and these are front wheel drive, right hand drive, so Slough built car. The Slough built examples, these chevrons, as I've said before, these chevrons hidden behind the vertical slats of the radiator grille. On the original French built cars, the chevrons, the two chevrons, which was a nod back to Citroen's early days producing gear sets, the chevrons are on the outside of the grille on the French built cars. Otherwise they look pretty similar, the English and the French built cars. This, the light 15 6-cylinder, beautifully stylised badges there, really is stunning looking car. Very low slung as well, bonnet raised. Let's have a quick look at the bonnet. So there it is, 6-cylinder engine tucked away under the long bonnet. Bit of a belter. Yeah, if you could, sir, that'd be great. Just to, I see, there we go. Right, there we go. So you have a proper look at the 6. So what size engine are we looking at here then?
Just short of 3 litres.
3? Oh, it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be then.
Yeah.
So this is a light 15, isn't it?
No.
Is it not 15, this one? Or it says 15. I saw 15 on the front. That's what threw me.
Oh right, no, it's a big 6 hydraulic.
Oh, I see. Right. So nearly 3 litres. It does look like a big lump of engine, I must admit.
And it also has It was used as as a test bed for the ID19s and the DS19.
Oh, was
It's
it?
got
Oh, yeah,
hydraulic rear
hydraulics.
suspension on these. So,
Is it? Oh, wow.
So
Never realised that. So what year is this one then?
it was made in 54 and it was sold in February 55.
So is this a slough car?
This is a Slough
It is, isn't
car,
it? Yeah, right-hand drive and the different grille and stuff. Yeah. Well, there we go. Trading Estate Slough. Yeah. What a beauty that is. Yeah. Let's have a look around the other side. See what we can see. Wow, that is. Well, so big single carb. What make is the carburettor on it? And is it some? I'm not sure what make that is.
Well,
Is it a big old Solex or something?
Yeah, it's a twin choke Solex.
Is it? Right. So that's your, presumably the hydraulics, the brake.
That's brakes.
That's the brake fluid that goes in there, doesn't it? You've got your regulator and all this sort of thing here.
Starter motor push button.
So where's the gearbox? Is the gearbox out
Well,
here
the
at the
gearbox
front? It's at the front, isn't it?
There. This is
Yes, because being front wheel drive,
you can change the
gear-
clutch on the car
yeah,
without taking the engine out or taking the gearbox off.
can you?
Yes.
Crikey. I think Saab are like that as well, actually. I think that.
You take the bonnet off. Drain the radiator. Take the grill off.
Yeah.
Take the dynamo off. And then the lid comes off these.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
7 bolts. Lift the lid off. There's 3 clamps you put on to clamp the plate. You take the main shaft out the front and you can lift the clutch out
Really?
in its entirety.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, because otherwise that would be quite convoluted if you had to pull the box off and everything, wouldn't it? That would
Well, the
be.
gearbox alone weighs 75 kilograms.
Blimey. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be swinging that around too often, would you?
No.
right,
And the
so
interesting thing is, though, the 6-cylinder one is the same length as the 4-cylinder one.
Is it? Oh, right.
So they had to actually make a tall gearbox. That's why
Oh,
this, you can't actually do the tappets without taking the bonnet off.
oh, bonnet off.
Because it actually sits so high.
So you can't even get the rocker cover
You
off
can't get the rocker
with the
cover
bonnet
off.
on. Oh, right.
The
There's always a compromise somewhere then, isn't
right, the gearbox is 3 shafts instead of 2. And prior to 1948, the starting handle, you turned it anti-clockwise.
there? Oh, right.
Yeah, I bet that was fun when it took your hand off.
Yeah, blimey.
And then from 48, they actually changed the position of where the starting handle went. So it actually goes directly on the end of the crankshaft.
Got you, right. Talking of starting, you can actually see the exposed ring gear and the starter motor down there, can't you? So that's not something you normally see on
No.
regular cars.
Yeah, don't put your fingers in that one.
No, you wouldn't want to get. Yeah,
And,
you don't want to get your tie caught in that, would you?
So consequently, the ring gear start it's on this end. The clutch is on that end,
Yeah.
and it has a split flywheel on it as well.
Oh, good grief.
The gearbox is so tall they had to put an oil pump in the gearbox, which is fine. But the problem actually is when you stop at the traffic lights, both the top shaft and the intermediate shaft still rotate, but the oil pump doesn't pump any oil up to them.
Oh, right. Well, I can see that being.
Yeah, they go noisy,
Do they?
but they never fail. Never fail. They just go noisy.
Just get a bit vocal.
Yeah.
No, it's a stunning car. So, can I have a quick look inside? Yes, let's have a quick peer in. We admire the elegant simplicity. Oh, let's have a sit in then. What a treat. Lovely steering wheel as well. So this is a big 6 hydraulic, eh? Oof. Well, this is lovely, isn't it? What a great view down the bonnet. Very, very stylish dash as well. Oh, what a cracking little Citroen. This is built late 54, sold early 1955. And I never realised that these very, very late tractions had the Citroen lift-up suspension at the rear. That really is quite a special car. Big thanks to the owner for letting me have a closer poke around that one. Right, and on the end of the row we have an Alvis of presumably the early 1950s. I did a video a little while ago looking at a TA14 that was desperate for a new home, bit of a project. This is slightly later, I think this is a TC21. Very, very similar looking car. Lovely, lovely, stylish, quality car, presumably from the early 1950s. Right, so I think it's time to nip back to the car, grab a bottle of water, and then head out and have a quick look around just in case I've missed anything. Facing the 1923 Rolls-Royce. I don't think I actually did this row when I was walking around in here before, so let's remedy that now. Several of these open top Golfs here today. An immaculate Morris Minor green here, the little Traveller, beautiful wood on it, presumably all replaced. 67 the date of this one, and alongside it MGYA. So this was the Y-type MG saloon of the late 1940s, maybe the beginning of the 1950s. The YB that came along a little bit later was visually very, very similar, a bit different under the skin, and it had slightly smaller diameter wheels, but I'm pretty sure this is the earlier YA, going off the wheels anyway. These earlier cars with these registrations, they don't have a dating letter on them. So whereas this is really for the benefit of people watching from abroad, whereas these do, the E is a dating letter in that particular case. Older cars such as this MG, there's nothing really here to give you a firm steer on the date, so you're really just going off the top of your head trying to figure out when these cars were built. So these were introduced in the late 1940s, sold alongside cars such as the MGTC. So this is a 51, this is an MGYA, 1 1/4 saloon, designed in 38 but didn't actually start in production until 1947. University Motors Garages, UMG, London distributor, 1250cc overhead valve engine. Yep. And also rack and pinion steering, so quite advanced, up-to-date steering in what was very much a pre-war looking car. Pretty cool looking cars. The body shell, the centre bit, by this point in time MG and Morris were part of the Nuffield group, so the centre bit of the body is the same, this bit here is the same as the Morris 8 Series E, with its rear hinged front doors, conventionally hinged back doors, 6 light bodywork. So this bit Series E, but on the MG is different tail, different wings, different mudguards, different front end, and of course the proud vertical chrome radiator for MG, as you can see there. But yes, there was a bit of part spin going on with these cars, but to be honest, unless you knew, you wouldn't think that that body shell was shared with another car. And it's a very, very good looking car, I think. So a little 1 1/4 4-cylinder engine under that bonnet. Lovely, lovely looking cars. And like I say, the YB looked very similar, and that came out a short while after to replace it. Here we have a Mitsubishi Turbo. Is this the Lancer? I think it's a Lancer, isn't it? Yeah. EX 2000 Turbo, 1981 Group B homologation special. Yeah. Built with rallying in mind in the early 1980s. Like the 2000 Turbo in reverse lettering on the front spoiler there. I think that was originally seen on the BMW 2002 Turbos. The idea was that when you came upon a much slower car in their rear view mirror, they would be able to read that they had a turbo car on their tail, hence the reverse lettering there. Right, we carry on. Oof, look at this Jaguar. Jaguar Mark II here, beautiful example in dark blue painted body colour wires, cutaway Coombs type rear arches as well. Lovely XK, the straight 6 under the bonnet of that one. 870 XVB, which one is this? 3.8, so that's the biggest engine that Jaguar offered in the Mark II range. Beautiful looking car, really does look good. I'm a big fan of painted wires. One of these on either painted wires like that or satin black wires just looks the bee's knees in my view. Lovely wood and leather interior, manual with overdrive gearbox, so 3.8, which is the biggest engine, and 3.8 with a manual with overdrive. It's just the perfect Mark II in many, many ways. I do like those. Yeah. The bank robber special. Right, let's keep going along here. Lovely big Jaguar Leaper. on this era of Jaguar. Right, got a Nissan Skyline I think alongside. But what do we have here? This is a little Vespa. A little Vespa 400 I think this is. Left-hand drive, tiny little micro car. Very similar colour to a little Renault 750, the 4CV that we had until not that long ago. And just like the little 4CV, tiny little engine in the tail of the car. Well, this one is somewhat smaller even than the engine that was in our Renault, and that was 748cc. This one's about 400 I think. Tiny little interior, tiny little seats, left-hand drive, very, very basic dash. But you don't really need any more than that. It's very dainty. Little door handles as well. I like that kind of thing. But yeah, what a great little thing, the little Vespa. I'm sure it's a Vespa 400, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And look, the tiniest turn signals ever have been fitted to this particular car so as not to spoil the original look of this great little car. Look at, oh, there's the badge on the back. I should have looked at that first, shouldn't I? Vespa 400, there we go. What a super little runabout that is. That looks like a lot of fun. Alongside it, a Ferrari. Which one is this? I should remember. This is a Mondial Quattro valve, so presumably 4 valves per cylinder. Right-hand drive Mondial. And this is a glorious Triumph Dolomite foursome drop head coupe. So foursome, seating for 4, drop head coupe, because it's got this lovely, beautifully engineered and upholstered folding roof arrangement here. Beautiful interior. Just look at the quality of the fittings. This dates to the late 1930s. Beautiful place to sit. In stunning condition. Metallic blue paintwork. The proud chrome waterfall grille on this one as well. Just look at that. Beautifully stylish grille. Real quality job, that one. What a beauty of a car. The original Triumph Dolomite here in drop head coupe, foursome coupe form. Next to that, beautiful XK120 drop head coupe. So sometimes we see XK120 Roadsters or fixed head coupes, but this is the drop head. So like the Roadster, open topped, but this has a much more substantial roof on it, a bit like the XK150 we were looking at a little while back, the red one. So this drop head coupe dates to 1954. What a beauty this is. Beautiful interior. Original radio. What I like about Jaguars of this age is the tacho, the rev counter reads in the anti-clockwise direction, which is kind of neat. So a mirror effect to the speedo, which is just over there. Yeah. What a beautiful car. It really is a bit of a Bobby Dazzler. In fact, they both are. The Triumph and indeed the Jaguar. It would be very, very difficult to choose between them. Which one would you go for? I love the Triumph, but I think in this case I would probably go new and go with the XK, but it would be a tough choice. And on the end of the row here, great little Austin A35 van. Well folks, I think that is probably most of the cars here today at the Didsbury Car Show. Not technically a classic car event, but there are many classic cars and several vintage and pre-war cars here as well. So that was just been really interesting. Such a variety. Everything from a police Land Crab to a relatively modern Morgan three-wheeler, mid-engine Toyotas, a Lotus Esprit over there, all sorts of cars. So thank you so much for watching this particular video. It's been a hot one, this. I hope you found it of interest. Please leave a comment as always. If you're not a subscriber yet, please think about doing so, because that really helps the channel continue to grow. And well, there'll be loads more videos ready coming along very soon. So bye for now.